You're listening to Sox in the Basement, a production of the Broadcast Basement Limited, where every show is 30 minutes of good and comes from a basement bar on the south side of Chicago. Pull up a stool, pour a cold one, and join us right now for Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. And welcome down to Sox in the Basement. My name is Chris Lanuti. Belly on up to my 9-foot homemade oak bar. Pour yourself a cold one, or just have one where you're at. It's time for White Sox baseball. 2020 simulated ever since opening day, only at Sox in the Basement and soxinthebasement.com. And it's brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park, found at the corner of 33rd and Princeton, a Southside tradition. Make them part of your rotation. Get the amazing food, the pulled pork nachos, the wings, the wraps, the dogs, the burgers, everything on the menu, and take a look at it right now through Grubhub or at corkandcarryatthepark.com. We are in the middle of a 4-game set against the Minnesota Twins. The standings right now, Twins 34-18 in first place. The White Sox 31-20, 2.5 games back. And the Indians 29-23, 5 out. And while the Twins have spanked the Indians when they go up against each other, the White Sox have taken 3 out of 5. With 2 more left in this road series. They've also held down Josh Donaldson. He's got a solo home run and nothing else. In the offseason, it was all about getting pitching. We talked about it here on Sox in the Basement. Names like Keuchel, Odorizzi, Kenta Maeda, Gio Gonzalez. Well, when the offseason dust settled, we ended up with Keuchel and Gonzalez. They ended up with Maeda and retained Odorizzi with a qualifying offer. Game 1, Gio Gonzalez started a game that we eventually won. Game 2, Jake Odorizzi started a game that they eventually won. Game 3, Dallas Keuchel versus Kenta Maeda. You couldn't write it any better. We head out right now to enemy territory. The White Sox versus the Twins. Target Field, Saturday, now. Hello, White Sox fans. Welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota. An AL Central matchup between the Chicago White Sox at 31-20 and the 34-18 Minnesota Twins. We're here at Target Field, where the Sox are wearing some throwback jerseys and ready to rock on a Saturday afternoon. Kenta Maeda, 11 starts, 3-3 record, 4.58 earned run average, over 57 innings, a 1.32 whip, 48 strikeouts to 22 walks, 53 hits over those 57 innings. The righty steps in after spending several years with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he will face Leury Garcia to lead off the game. Leury's playing short today for Tim Anderson. He's hitting .270 coming off a grand slam last night here. Gave the White Sox a 5-3 lead before it fell apart later on in the game. The Sox eventually fell 6-5. First pitch inside for a strike, 0-1 the count. We're underway. Game 3 of this series. First pitch at 1:11 this afternoon. Next pitch on the outside corner, 4-seamer misses, 1-1 the count. Sox basically using all the starters with the exception of Anderson in today's lineup. 1-1 count, the pitch on the way. Pops straight back to the catcher, and he's gone. 1 out here in the top of the first. Yasmani Grandal steps in. He's hitting .308 on the season, batting lefty against the righty Maeda, swings and misses at a 4-seam fastball. The wind blowing straight out to right field again today. We saw that yesterday night, and both teams took advantage of it. Twins put a few of them into the jet stream in right field on the line. Leury Garcia did the same. Dave Lawrence, the umpire behind the plate, calls a ball. The count is even, 1-1. Maeda into the wind. This one's chopped up the middle to second base. A shift was on for Grandal, so they eat it up with a guy standing right behind second. Over to first, there's 2 gone to start off this game. Jose Abreu's up to .267 after getting dangerously close to dropping into the 250s. He's got 11 home runs on the season, including 1 in this series. And he stands up at the plate with 2 outs in the top of the first, rifles the first pitch towards left field. Polanco grabs it, jump throw, can't get it over to first base in time, and Abreu is safe. Not only did he beat the throw, but first baseman was pulled off the bag. I've been watching Polanco now for the last couple games. I'm going to tell you something right now. Tim Anderson's a better defender. There's no doubt about it. TA's got better range, better accuracy over to first base, and actually fields the ground balls better. And I have never been a big fan of TA's defense. But you really appreciate him after you watch Polanco over there at short. 322 is what Yoan Moncada's hitting. 9 homers, 29 RBI. Stands in with the ball already against him. 1-0 the count. Hitting from the left side, of course, against the righty Maeda. Abreu's on first as he swings and misses at an inside four-seamer. 1-1 the count. His 15 doubles tie him for 6th in all of Major League Baseball right now. So the extra base hits are coming. Add that to the 9 home runs. He's doing very well. 1-2 the count as that one catches the outside corner. Next pitch is low. Count is even at 2. Maeda goes outside with a slider and misses. 3-2 the count. Full count, 2 outs, top of the first. And Moncada swings and misses at 1 inside, but in the zone. It was low. He goes over the top of it. The only White Sox player to not take a rest in some way this weekend. Goes down on strikes. No score going to the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first inning, and Dallas Keuchel comes up. 10 starts, 5-1 record, 4.31 earned run average, 56 in the third innings. With 54 hits and 21 walks, has a 1.33 whip, 48 strikeouts over those 54 innings. He's had more good than bad this year. Overall, he's been solid for this team, and a good pickup. The lefty gets Byron Buxton first, hitting .268 with 9 homers and 32 RBIs. First pitch rifled on the first base line, fair ball over the base. Mazara's going to get in, throw it in. There's going to be a play at second base. He is out at second base. Buxton tries to go for 2. Mazara did a good job fielding that ball, not letting it get into the corner down the line. Came up throwing and guns out Byron Buxton. And there's 1 gone, so that's a hit. And he's out trying to advance the second. And there's 1 out in the bottom of the first inning and nobody on. The count quickly, 0-1 as Keuchel gets a strike across to the next batter. Ray Andriaza comes off the bench hitting .311. He's now 1-1 and then fouls one off down the first base line. 1-2 the count quickly. Andriaza, generally a shortstop, not playing that today. Swing and a miss. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Andreas is playing out in left field today. They're using a lot of the backups. As now Luis Arraez sends one out in the right field back towards the wall. It's going to hit at the track. Mazara misplays it. He's in his second base standing. With 2 outs, a man on second here in the bottom of the first inning. It's going to go down as an E9 on Mazara as he muffs a play out there at the track and puts the runner on second base. So 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Nelson Cruz is up. He's one of the few regulars that are playing. I was talking about Polanco earlier. And then all of a sudden I saw running off the field Marwin Gonzalez. I still don't think Polanco's very good at short. We've seen a lot of misplays. But that wasn't him in the first inning. It's Marwin Gonzalez. You got Arraez over at second. You got a shortstop out in left field today. I'm looking at this lineup now that the Twins set up. Remember we talked about yesterday how the White Sox rested some players coming out of that extra inning game. The Twins played a lot of guys. And clearly today, some of them were not recovered. And so we are kind of getting the B team today. So a big game for the White Sox here. You got to take advantage of that. This is now 1-2 against Cruz. I'm not saying everybody here's a B teamer. There's a lot of subs in as that one swung on and missed a changeup inside and low. Cruz goes down swinging and Keuchel is out of the first. Each team has a hit. Nomar Mazara has an error. And there's no score going to the top of the second inning. Eloy Jimenez had the day off yesterday. 37 RBIs and 13 home runs go with his .272 average. He bats in the 5 spot, which has been his usual now for a while. And he will lead off the top of the second inning. Maeda, 13 pitches in the first inning, goes for pitch number 14 right here. And it's in the zone, a high fastball. 0-1 the count. Target Field, Saturday afternoon here in Minneapolis. This series is tied 1-1. Sox took the first one in 13 and then lost 6-5 last night. So 2 very close games and seesaw battles. 0-2 the count. Now a slider outside misses. 1-2. after Jimenez Encarnacion. The pitch. Swung on and missed a four-seamer inside. He was underneath it. One out, and the second strikeout for Maeda. And Encarnacion stands in with an .894 OPS. First pitch is high, a four-seamer. 1-0 the count. I lead with the OPS. I can also tell you about the 13 home runs and the 29 RBIs. But if you're a batting average guy, it's only .248. The 1-0 pitch checks it up, 2-0. He leads the team in walks and leads the team in strikeouts right now. The extra base hits and all the on-base points that he gets for the walks is the reason why his OPS is so high, while the average is below .250. 3-0 the count now, the pitch on the way. Swung on and missed a four-seamer, 3-1. Nomar Mazara stands on deck with the start in right field today. The 3-1 pitch. Swung on and sent out deep into left field, tailing back towards the wall, but it will not get out. Caught at the track. It's a fly out for Encarnacion. And there's two gone here in the top of the second inning. Nomar Mazara steps up, hitting .205 with 5 homers and 16 RBIs. His on-base percentage is only .305. And this White Sox game and every simulated game from Sox in the Basement brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park over at 33rd and Princeton as Mazara puts this one out into right field. He found some room to get a ground ball through a shift. It was like everybody was standing over there. In fact, they're actually going to call this an error on the first baseman. So 2 errors in this game. We were making fun of the official scorer. He wouldn't give one out the last 2 days. Maybe they got a new guy in there. Because now it's errors everywhere. As Nick Madrigal stands in, hitting .234 with a home run and 11 RBIs with 2 outs, top of the second inning. And Mazara on first base. Maeda waits for the signal, and now the pitch. An outside slider misses 1-0. Luis Robert, the center fielder, stands on deck. Madrigal has scored 3 times in his last 3 games and hitting well over 300 in his last 10. Four-seam fastball, he swings underneath it, 1-1 the count. Now an inside four-seamer, misses 2-1. Mads has been very patient at the plate. Lifts this one out into the left center field gap, but it's going to hang up there too long. The catch is made, and this half inning is over. We go to the bottom of the second inning, still no score here in Minnesota. When I said the backups were in, that didn't mean Josh Donaldson wasn't playing. .375 is what he's hitting so far. 19 home runs, 52 RBIs. He only has 1 hit, a home run, in that 13-inning affair. And otherwise, nada. He struck out 4 times yesterday against the White Sox. 3 from Giolito. Outside pitch goes for a ball, 1-0 the count. So far, White Sox pitching has found a way to keep him down with the exception of 1 mistake really early in the first game from Reynaldo Lopez, and a 2-seamer swung over, 1-1 the count. Donaldson so frustrated yesterday after the 3rd strikeout broke the bat over his knee, threw the pieces at his own dugout. Because it's the bat's fault. Swing and a miss on a changeup, 1-2. Looking around the league right now, a lot of day baseball going on. The Rangers leading in Kansas City early in the second inning, 2-0. An outside changeup misses, 2-2 the count. Keuchel only needed 10 pitches in the first inning. Has thrown 4 so far here in this inning. He's got the leadoff man for the inning, Donaldson, 2-2. Now this one's foul back, a 2-seamer into the stands. Count remains even. Into the wind of the pitch. Just misses the inside corner. Rondal tried to frame that up, couldn't get it. Count is full now with Garver on deck. Keuchel gets Davidson to foul that one off down the first base line, will reset. Now Donaldson rifles this one in the right field. That's a solid base hit in front of Mazara. The leadoff man is on after he goes full. We weren't going to keep him down the entire series. That moves him into a tie for 3rd place in all the American League for the most amount of hits with 66 by a single player. Mitch Garver's up. He has a home run in this series. It was a big one, a 2-run home run that sent it in extras the other night. 12 total, 34 RBIs. He goes with .314 batting average, and he has caught all 3 games so far in this series for the Twins. He's an Iron Man as an inside two-seamer catches the zone, 0-1 the count. He's 2 for 5 with a strikeout lifetime against Keuchel. Next pitch high and inside. He went around enough. That's going to be called a strike. 0-2. Keuchel checks the runner. Donaldson at first. And now gets in the swing at a low outside two-seamer. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And the third strikeout for Dallas Keuchel as Mitch Garver goes and sits down. He'll get his catching gear on to get ready for the next half inning. And there's 1 gone now here in the bottom of the second. Max Kepler comes up, killing the White Sox. You look at what he's been doing in this series. He came in as a pinch runner, so he didn't really have anything to do in game 1. 2 homers and a ground rule double yesterday. He was the difference in that entire game. Raises the average 15 points to 220. He's got 12 homers so far in the season now, but he's quickly 0-2 after Keuchel gets the lower inside portion of the zone against the lefty. Lefty on lefty action, 1 out, bottom of the second, swing and a miss. Keuchel sits him down too. So Dallas cruising right now after Donaldson goes deep into a count against him and gets a single. 2 gone, Miguel Sano comes up. He's in the 8th spot. 44 RBIs, that's 6th in the American League. We've only seen him ban the 8 and 9 spots in this lineup this weekend. When we saw Miguel early in the season, he was the 4 hitter when the Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. I want to say it was the second weekend of the season. Now he's 1-0 with a man on first and 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Next pitch drilled deep. They're not getting that one. Sano's like, I want back in that 4 spot. He's killing it these days. 2-run home run that may land now. And that was deep, 457 feet. A 457-foot bomb that got out of here at 110.1 miles per hour on the exit velocity. I'm going to look at the replay and tell you if it made it to the 3rd deck in Target Field, out in left center field. That was a rocket. They're showing it right now here on the scoreboard. I couldn't tell if it went upper deck or 3rd deck. Oh, that's a 3-decker. That's a 3-decker. He put that halfway up in the 3rd deck in Target Field in left center field. As Marwin Gonzalez comes in, hitting .231 with 2 homers and 8 RBI. And the Twins lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. Keuchel gives up a leadoff single to Donaldson, strikes out the next 2 guys on 6 pitches, and then serves up a bomb to Miguel Sano, and now he's 1-1 to Marwin Gonzalez, a 9-hitter. I felt good. Then all of a sudden, wow. You know, Sano's got power. He doesn't belong at the bottom of the lineup. They're trying some things here, obviously, in Minnesota. I expect him to be in the middle lineup again the next time we see them. Now a base hit in front of Robert into center field, and Keuchel needs to settle down. Coop's going to come out and talk with him. Wants to make sure he knows what he's doing. Just giving him a moment out on the mound. Kind of catches breath. Byron Buxton's coming up. He's 1 for 1 with a single in the first, but he was thrown out trying to make a single into a double. Nomar Mazara made a great play. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Keuchel's up to 30 pitches. 20 so far in this inning. And 2 runs given up. For the first time all series, the Twins struck first with that 2-run home run. The White Sox struck first in the first 2 games. A strike on the inside corner to Buxton, the next one outside. A changeup misses. 1-1 the count. Going around the horn, we got Grandal behind the plate. Abreu at first. Madrigal at second. Shortstop's Garcia. Moncada's at third. Jimenez out and left as he watches a foul ball down the third base line roll towards the crowd. Center field's Luis Robert, and right field Nomar Mazara. Encarnacion is the DH. Ground ball over to Moncada. He's going to flip it over to second. Madrigal touches the bag to force out, and the fielder's choice ends the inning. But after 2, the good guys trail by 2 here in Minnesota. Luis Robert, the 9-hitter for the White Sox, leads off this inning. He had a nice game one against this team. He's hitting .211 now. Been getting the bat on the ball more often lately. Takes an outside four-seamer for a ball, 1-0. He went 3 for 6 in the opener with 3 singles. Scored a couple of times. I believe he had an RBI in there as well. And maybe a stolen base or 2. Get him on, he's dangerous. The 1-0 pitch is fouled back into the backstop. 1-1 the count. Top of the third inning means it's the Family Waterproofing Solutions third inning. As Roberts swings and misses at a circle change, 1-2. Veteran-owned, female-owned, family-owned. On the southwest side of Chicago. This one's rifled out of the left center field. Get down, get down. It does not. Nice play made out there in the gap. He just barely got to it. There's one gone, and Leury Garcia comes up for a second at bat of the game. 0 for 1 after popping out to the catcher in the first inning. Average has dropped into the 260s now after a hot start to this season. And Family Waterproofing Solutions has been inundated over the last couple of weeks. And we appreciate you supporting them. Remember, video conferencing. They'll give you estimates with pictures if you need to do it. They want it your business, but they want to do it safe. They don't want to intrude upon your house during this time of pandemic. As Garcia rifles this one out in the left field, it's going to be a can of corn. And there's 2 gone in the top of the third. And a portion of proceeds from every Family Waterproofing Solutions job goes to veteran organizations and first responders. Don't forget to ask about the Sox in the Basement details coming up halfway through this inning, which hopefully won't be immediately as Yasmani Grandal stands in, batting lefty against the righty. 4 home runs and 11 RBI over his last 10 games. But he takes a strike there, 0-1 the count, and he's already 0 for 1 in the game. Maeda sitting on 35 pitches here with 2 outs in the top of the third into the wind. Catcher sets up on the outside, swing and a miss at a four-seamer, perfectly placed into the glove. 0-2 the count. Sox trailing 2-0 here in the top of the third inning, but it's early. A low and away circle change misses 1-2. We said it both games. The early innings are just the prelude to the fireworks to come between these two offenses. As a slider inside misses 2-2 the count. Yasmani Grandal lifts this one down the third base line, but it is going to be caught near the track. Quite a workout out in left field today. Sox keep hitting it there, but he keeps catching them. Midway through the third, 2-0 Minnesota. Foundation issues not properly handled can be costly. Family Waterproofing Solutions is owned by Ken, a veteran of the United States Marines, and his wife Maria, making them a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business that will diagnose and repair wet or leaky basements. And while they're located on the Sox side, Family Waterproofing services the entire Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. And now, after taking time off to ensure they can do things safely and securely for you, Family Waterproofing is back in business and doing jobs. Plus, part of the proceeds for every job that they do are donated to veteran and first responder organizations who support our frontline defenders. And currently, Sox in the Basement listeners have access to special pricing when they contact Family Waterproofing Solutions now, 708-330-4466, or visit them today at FamilyBasementWaterproofing.com. Ehire Andriza, a shortstop that's playing left field today. We were just talking about how he's getting a ton of work. And he's fresh because he doesn't play that often. He's 0 for 1 in this game and 1-0 in the count as Keuchel goes into the wind and misses low on a changeup, 2-0. So he's generally a shortstop, sometimes plays second, but today they have him out in left, and he's fielding his position very well as he takes an inside two-seamer, 2-1 now in the count. Keuchel working quickly, tosses in the Grandal and misses on the outside corner, 3-1. So Andriza has a hitter's count. The righty waits for the next one. That's a strike on the outside corner. On a cut fastball, he's got to get back in the box, so he started running down to first base. 3-2. Umpires hate that. Now he's going to chop one to Keuchel. He's going to flip it over to Abreu at first. And that's one out. Sox come into this game 2.5 games back from the Twins. Twins at 34-18, Sox at 31-20. Every game has been close, with the exception of one blowout, which the White Sox put on the Twins. As Luis Arraez steps in, the lefty takes a two-seamer high from the lefty Keuchel. 1-0 the count. Arraez has 65 hits on the season, so here's a guy who's also up at the top of the American League in the hits category. I want to say he's tied for 4th right now. We did not see him yesterday. We saw him on Thursday. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed a two-seamer, 1-2, and he was a big part of the comeback in the 9th inning for the Twins. Getting on base to lead off that inning, and eventually scoring on the 2-run home run hit by Garver. 1-2 the count. 1 out, bottom of the 3rd inning. Keuchel in the wind. The pitch on the way. This is low on a two-seamer. Count is even at 2. Dallas using a lot of pitches here early on in the game. Not very efficient as now Arraez puts one down the third base line. Fair ball into the outfield. He's going to stay at first as Jimenez gets it in quickly. It's the second time we've seen the lefty go oppo down the line in this series and place that thing just inside the foul line. There's 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Nelson Cruz comes up 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the 1st inning, sitting on 10 home runs and 27 RBIs to go with his .309 average. Takes a ball inside, 1-0 the count. Arraez has some speed down at first base, but he's not the kind of guy that steals very often. Keuchel misses on the outside corner, 2-0. That was a two-seamer. 411 career home runs for Nelson Cruz over 15 seasons. In the twilight of his career, but still very dangerous. Next pitch misses outside, 3-0. Josh Donaldson's on deck, and Keuchel really has to get the strike zone under control right now. He's missing a lot of close ones, nibbling. 48 pitches so far, 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. The pitch. Jam shot in the shallow right field. It'll be caught by an oncoming Nomar Mazara. So luckily he goes after the 3-0 pitch and pops it out. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 3rd for Donaldson with a runner on first. He has a single and he scored on a 2-run home run later in the inning. He comes up here 1 for 1 as Keuchel gets ready to throw pitch number 50 on the game. And it's a low changeup, 1-0 the count. He's got a .773 slugging percentage, and yes, that's first in the American League. That's ridiculous. He also has the highest on-base percentage in the American League right now. He fouls off a two-seam fastball down the first base line, having an incredible start to his season. Best thing that could happen for the White Sox is the law of averages take over, and he drops back down to where he should be by the end of the year. That would mean he's going to have a really rough back half of the season. This one's fouled off, 1-2 the count. So far, only 2 hits in this series for Donaldson, but more than twice than those in strikeouts. And there's another strikeout of him as he swings and misses at a two-seamer right down the middle. Keuchel beats him. Donaldson shakes his head. He's having a hard time against White Sox pitching overall. But the Minnesota Twins lead 2-0 after 3. Jose Abreu is going to lead off for the Chicago White Sox. He's 1 for 1 in this game. Kenta Maeda, 39 pitches through the first 3 innings. Kicks off the top of the 4th. The righty into the wind in the pitch. He misses on the outside corner on a slider, 1-0 the count. 190 home runs over his career in the majors. The pitch on the way. Misses inside on a slider, 2-0. Abreu has drawn a lot of walks in this series, but has also had a couple of good hits. Inside pitch down the third base line. Nice play by Donaldson. A jump throw behind the bag will get Abreu before he can get the first. Caught that ball behind third base, went into foul territory, spun and jumped, and got Abreu by a step and a half. So 1 out, top of the 4th inning. Yoan Moncada comes up 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first. He's hitting .321 with a .948 OPS. He's getting on base at a .377 clip. But he's only 1 for 10 in this series with a double and an RBI. So as Donaldson has struggled, their best hitter, Moncada, one of ours, has also struggled in this series. He's 1-1 in the count against Maeda. Now over his last 7 games, 3 homers from Moncada. An inside pitch goes back to the wall. 2-1 the count. So he was hot coming into this series. A low outside pitch misses. 3-1 now with Jimenez on deck. Garver sets up on the outside corner. The pitch on the way. Stayed in the zone and was fouled off a four-seamer. 3-2 the count. So count full to Yoan Moncada. Jimenez on deck. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 4th. Sox down by 2. Now he rifles this one out in the left field. It will get down and get to the wall. Moncada's on his way around to second base. He will get in there easily. And that is a double for Yoan Moncada with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Nice hit ball. His 16th double of the season. He came into this game, like we said, in the top 5 in the American League with 15 doubles. He was tied with Tim Anderson. Well, he's got 16 now. Yoan Moncada's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the second inning. He's got a runner on second. And 1 out, and that ball is high, a four-seamer. 1-0 the count. We know the Twins don't like pitching to Edwin Encarnacion, but we also know they have no problem pitching around him to get whoever is next, whether it be Mazara or Engel, as they've intentionally walked Encarnacion several times in this series. That said, they are probably then going to pitch to Jimenez at some point here. He's got a 2-0 count with Encarnacion on deck. Now there's a strike in the outside corner, 2-1. Moncada with a healthy lead over at second. He's probably not going anywhere. Maeda checks him and now delivers. Swung on and missed. The ball's going to get away, but not far enough. That was a bad pitch to swing on. It was low and outside and not near the zone. Jimenez chased. So instead of 3-1, it's 2-2. The next offering is way outside. He doesn't go after that one. 3-2 the count. Maeda delivers another one. Jimenez grounds to third. Donaldson quickly over to first and stared back Moncada to second before he threw it. There's 2 gone and a runner on second base, and here comes Edwin, who's 0 for 1 with the flyout. They're going to pitch to him, but I doubt he gets anything to hit. This is a high inside pitch for a four-seam fastball going for a ball. It's hitting .345 with runners in scoring position. The Twins are perfectly fine going to the 7, 8, 9 guys in our order, although Madrigal and Robert have done very well. And it's not like Mazara and Engel have been an automatic out. 1-1 now as that one hits the inside corner. 2 outs, top of the 4th. Sox trailing by 2 with Moncada on second. Next pitch high and outside, 2-1. Encarnacion fouls the next one back to the backstop. 2-2 the count. A pretty day out here in Minnesota, as that one is away on a slider. 3-2 the count is full with Mazara on deck, hovering at 203. A rough start for a kid that got a change of scenery. We're not even getting what he was giving them in Texas. Swung on and missed a slider inside. It was in the zone. Encarnacion just couldn't get down to it. Down and in at the knees. That's the end of the top of the 4th, and we're into the bottom of the 4th now, with Dallas Keuchel coming out on the mound. And he'll get Mitch Garver first, who's 0 for 1. He's got 53 pitches so far through 3 innings. Garver's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the second inning. The righty catcher stands in. Keuchel in the line, the pitch on the way. Right down the middle, a two-seamer for a strike, 0-1 the count. Garver's 2 for 6 now, lifetime, against Keuchel with a couple strikeouts. Inside corner catches on a two-seamer, 0-2 quickly. He sat down Garver on 3 pitches last time. He's 0-2 on him right now. Keuchel in the wind. High, swung on, missed, sit out again. Dallas Keuchel has 6 strikeouts, 2 of them of Mitch Garver, and he only needed 6 pitches to get those 2 against Garver. The Twins, though, have his number because they're up 2-0. Max Kepler comes in. He struck out on 3 pitches last time. This time he takes a ball low, 1-0 the count. Had a big game yesterday, this lefty. He was the gas that made the Twins engine go as they outlasted the White Sox 6-5. Now he fouls this one off down the third base line. He's got a 5-game hit streak right now. 1-1 the count. Keuchel in the line, the pitch. Swung on and fouled off down the first base line, 1-2. Dallas looking for a clean and efficient inning here in the fourth. Gets him to pop this one back. So Kepler hanging in. A high pitch he offered but didn't go around enough. 2-2 the count. Grandal centers himself behind the plate. A low two-seamer down the middle, just misses. 3-2 with Sano on deck, hitting .272 with a 2-run homer already in this game. 1 out, bottom of the fourth inning. Keuchel to the lefty. Swung on and chopped over to second base. Madrigal's going to scoop and throw and make the easy out. 2 gone in the bottom of the fourth inning, and here comes Sano. He had the 2-run rocket into the triple deck here at Target Field the last time up, and that's why we're trailing 2-0. With 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth inning, the first pitch is popped down the third base line. It will just get out of play, and there's 1 strike. Next pitch high and outside, misses, 1-1. Keuchel relying on the two-seamer a lot today, but every once in a while just throws one way outside or very high. Like, hey, I got to throw a pitch, but I don't know what I want to throw to this guy. I'm just going to throw one that he either has to reach for or that'll just be a ball. 1-2 now the count as that one's fouled off. Comes inside now with a slider, misses, 2-2. You wanted Dallas to have an efficient inning, but unfortunately, 67 pitches now here with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. He got him, though, looking on a changeup at the knees. Sano's going to look incredulously at the umpire as the White Sox come off the field. Trailing by 2 after 4 here in Minneapolis. You're in a DP3 Tech fifth inning. DP3 Tech, an internet security company, an office security company, dealing with your computers that when they saw the pandemic hit, they said, whoa, we've got an idea. We're going to take the technology we have that we already use. We're going to partner with Microsoft, and the next thing you know, they've got something better in your Zoom, your Messenger, your FaceTiming, anything you can think of. I know Google's got some system. Imagine integrating with your systems and small business, big business, touch of a button, everybody's on the screen, touch of a button, sharing things. It's the new way to do things in a new reality. And they were very innovative coming up with this. Teaming up with Microsoft was a big deal. As Homer Bailey and Randy Dobnak, 2 long relievers that we've seen in each of the first 2 games, warm up behind Kenta Maeda, who's 1-0 to Nomar Mazara to lead off this inning. Strike down the middle evens it up 1-1. Details coming up about DP3 Tech here at the midway point. Impress your boss, or be the boss that impresses everybody else with your forethought. Get a pen and paper ready. The 1-1 pitch, low and inside for a ball, 2-1 the count. No outs, top of the fifth inning. White Sox trailing 2-0. And a low four-seam fastball misses 3-1 to Mazara with Madrigal on deck. This is the latest any game against these 2 teams has gone in which one of the teams has not scored yet. As a circle change gets across for a strike, 3-2 the count. Full count to Mazara. Swung on and sent out into center field. That's a base hit. It's going to drop in front of Buxton. He was charging quick but couldn't get to it. Mazara's on with the leadoff single here on the top of the fifth. And up comes Nick Madrigal with Kenta Maeda sitting on 66 pitches. 2 guys warming up behind him. First offering, low and away for a ball, 1-0 the count. Barely a cloud in the sky here in Minneapolis. Overall, been an enjoyable experience to watch these games. Although a little taxing on the heart as this is a bloop, Maeda's only play is over to first base. It was going towards the third base side. He will get Madrigal, but Mazara will advance. On the chopper, off to the side of the pitcher's mound from Madrigal. He's on second. Luis Roberts stands in 0 for 1. With 1 out in the top of the fifth inning. The pitch from Maeda. Swung on and sent out in the right. Oh, it was a line drive right at him. He ripped that ball. And if Cruz is 5 feet in either direction, I don't think he can react quick enough. That was a scorcher right where he was standing. And out for Robber, 2 outs in the inning. Sox still have that runner on second, and for the second time this game, a runner on second before they got the 2 outs, and unable to advance or score the runner, and Leury Garcia is going to try to pick up the rest of his teammates, hitting .364 with runners in scoring position, and he's 1-0 in the count. Now he swings and misses at a circle change, 1-1. Sox struggling to get that extra hit to get that runner in from scoring position. 2-1 now with a pitch high. Maeda checks the runner. Low pitch swung on. It was out of the zone, 2-2. Garcia does him a favor. Hitting in the leadoff spot today. Filling in for Tim Anderson. The next offering, away and misses. 3-2. Count is full with Grandal hitting .304 standing on deck. Sox would love to get him up with men on, as he has come through big so far, not only in this series, but in this month. Swung on and missed, dropped third strike, down to first base. He almost overthrew it, but he didn't. Garcia's out, and the Sox are retired. Marwin Gonzalez, and then the top of the order for the Twins coming up here in the bottom of the fifth.
New challenges bring new technology. DP3 Tech has partnered with Microsoft to make things easier on you and your business. Imagine being able to get everybody together in a nice, easy, user experience friendly meeting room, and being able to share whatever you want in the room with just one click. You can migrate from old legacy on-premises equipment right now to flexible, secure, work-from-home friendly cloud services. Bring your group together faster, better, easier. Find out what DP3 Tech can do for you. Contact their cloud migrations team today, 312-896-2450, or email info@dp3tech.com.
So Gonzalez is 1 for 1. Keuchel's sitting on 68 pitches. He's basically an inning behind Maeda, as Maeda finishes the fifth right around that number, and Keuchel starts his fifth inning at that number. He's into the wind in the pitch, and a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Gonzalez was a first-round pick. There's a lot of first-round picks on this Twins team. Guys who were picked in the first round either by them or another team that made their way here. 1-1 the count. Keuchel throws one outside, a cut fastball, 2-1. Quick shout out to the guys from the 108. I was on their show. I'm up this weekend in a video chat. We do this interview series where they talk with people around the White Sox and people that cover the Sox and talk about the Sox, and Sox in the Basement does that. They invited me on for a couple of beers and some questions. This one skied out in the left field, tailing back towards the wall, and that's another home run. That hit the second deck and bounced back onto the field as it hit the facade of deck number 2 and left. 384 feet that one travels at 100.1 miles per hour. Dallas Keuchel's given up 2 home runs. He trails 3-0. The Sox offense not keeping up so far in this game. Marwin has a couple of home runs in this series so far. Byron Buxton doesn't have one yet. He stands in and immediately tries to bunt his way on and pops it up, and Moncada just waits for it and catches it. Thank you very much. That'll settle our pitcher down. And Andreza, the left fielder, 0 for 2 stands in with 1 out now in the bottom of the 5th inning. He spent 7 years bouncing around Major League Baseball at a couple of stops. One of them I know was San Francisco. He's 2-0 now in the count. His current stop, of course, Minnesota. Low inside 2-seamer misses, 3-0 the count. With Reyes hitting .347 for the Twins so far this season, the second baseman, standing on deck. That's a strike at the knees, 2-seamer, 3-1 the count. Keuchel really seems to only be able to locate that 2-seamer. The slider has been all over the place. He missed there on a slider, and with 1 out at the bottom of the 5th inning and a run already in on the home run, he gives away the free pass. Arraez comes up. I know I've called him by about 6 different names. There's a few confusing ones on this team. He's 1 for 2. He's the 3-hitter on the team. He's got a runner on first. This team's up 3-0. There's only one out here in the bottom of the fifth. Keuchel checks the runner over at first and delivers. It's an inside fastball that misses 1-0. Back to the 108 guys. I just think they're fun guys. I said, yeah, sure. I had a beer sitting at my bar. Answered their questions. Got to ask them one. Tried to stir up some trouble. Probably said a few things that would aggravate a few people. But we had a lot of fun. And I know I retweeted it and put it up on our Facebook page. And it's available on their YouTube channel from the 108. You can go find it right now, a conversation with myself from Sox in the Basement. We mentioned these broadcasts. We also talk about a lot of other things. As how the runner goes, and this one is popped up in the shallow right. Runner's frozen in between the bag. Mazzaro's going to get it back over to first for the force, and he got him. So he doubles off the runner who was stealing, and then just freezes in between, waiting to see if he's actually going to make the play. We're out of the inning. Top of the sixth inning, though, and the White Sox are trailing 3-0. Double barrel action going on for the Twins, but Maeda's only got 75 pitches, and he's been doing very well shutting out the White Sox so far. Grandal steps in, hitting .304 on the season with a team-leading 14 home runs. Also has 37 RBI, but he's 0 for 2 in this game. And the switch hitter on the left side takes a ball low and in, 1-0 the count. Two different guys up there now. Tyler Duffy, we've seen him, and Sergio Romo, we've seen him as well. Romo was more effective than Duffy against us. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Grandal. Swung on and missed. The circle change down the middle. He just couldn't catch up to it or find it. Count is even at 1. The Yankees pouring it on now at home against Seattle, up 10-2 going into the 9th inning. In a game that was close early. We haven't faced them yet, but when we do, that's going to be a battle as well. Outside pitch makes it 3-1. The Royals have come back against the Rangers. They were trailing 2-0. They're up 3-2 now in the 6th. And Baltimore, our opponent after the Twins, up 3-0 over the Toronto Blue Jays currently on the road in Toronto. Count is full as that one is fouled off down the first base line. 3-2 count, no outs, top of the 6th inning to Grandal. Swung on and sent over to second, scooped and thrown to first. A quick and easy out after a long at bat. There's one gone in the top of the 6th inning. And Abreu's 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning comes up. And the White Sox are having trouble stringing hits together to get a run in. Still being shut out in this game. They are a potent offense that Kenta Maeda is holding in check. And the crazy thing about this is, yesterday, the Twins let most of their starters that were completely gassed go out in that game. And a team of half starters, half backups from the White Sox in a slobber knocker. Could have gone either way. Today, the White Sox are pretty much fresh with the exception of their table setter, Tim Anderson. And the Twins are trying to put together a hodgepodge lineup. And they're up 3-0. Slider on the inside corner, up and in. Catches the zone, 1-2 to Abreu with one out of the top of the 6th inning. The next pitch. Swung on and missed. He's out. 2 gone. Top of the 6th. Sox need to figure something out here against Maeda, or his arm's going to start falling off. That's the only way we're getting a run in. White Sox batters are getting fooled right now. As Kenta Maeda's on a roll, and here comes Yoan Moncada. Now he's got a double in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. He had a leadoff double and got stranded out there. He's hitting .324 currently. Takes a ball low, 1-0 the count. Another switch hitter on the White Sox, standing in on the left-handed batter's box. Garver calls for a high pitch behind Moncada. He doesn't go for it. 2-0. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. The problem has been that the White Sox hits are being spread around too far away from each other. There's way too much social distancing of their hits, as that's a swing and a miss at a circle change. They need to start getting dangerously close to each other and get some runs. Now he's way out in front of a pitch. Maeda took something off of it. 2-2 on a swinging strike. 89 pitches for Maeda, 59 of them for strikes. Next pitch fouled off. It was outside, but he's protecting. Count remains even at 2. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. Now Moncada rips this one down the first base line into the crowd deep. He's been out in front of a few pitches. Maeda took advantage earlier with an off-speed pitch that confused him. Let's see what he does here. He got him on an off speed there. Dropped out in front of Moncada. He was out in front of it and over it. Moncada strikes out. Through 6 innings, the White Sox have 3 hits. We trail 3-0. Nelson Cruz is 0 for 2. Dallas Keuchel has 83 pitches. He's going to start the bottom of the 6th inning. First pitch is away for a ball. He's got a career 37.4 wins above replacement. It's pretty good. Not Hall of Fame, but it's good. Kelvin Herrera and Carson Fulmer warm up in the pen to back him up here to start this inning. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Misses outside a cut fastball, 2-0. Herrera has been struggling as of late. If I had to pick who's the guy that you don't see as often in big situations over the last couple of weeks because he's been choking them up, it's been Herrera. And he was actually pretty good early on. Fulmer's been a nice surprise so far. He's now Cruz is 3-0 as Keuchel misses close on the inside corner. Next pitch does hit the inside corner, 3-1. Dallas does not like coming out before he finishes 6 and really wants to go 7 or 8. He's got that mentality, but he does have a tendency to wear out his arm too early in games. He needs to work on his efficiency, and he puts out a batter again. Another leadoff man on for Keuchel, who's already trailing this game 3-0. Now Josh Donaldson comes up. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a run. 376 average. He's got that incredible slugging percentage. What was it, 779 when he came up last time? It's 770 now. I'm sure he's torn up about it. Man, I want a guy with a 770 slugging percentage on my team. Where do you buy one of those? Oh, wait, he was available. Runner on first, no outs, bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch on the way. That's a strike down the middle on a changeup, 0-1 the count. Cruz is not a threat to go. He's older and he's slower. This one's ripped down the third base line, foul, 0-2 quickly to Donaldson. Sox need to hold the Twins and find a way to get some offense going. This one's fouled off, count remains 0-2. It is a rarity for this team to not be putting up runs in bunches. But Maeda has held them down today. Swung on and missed. Donaldson with another strikeout in this series. And the 8th for Keuchel. Garver's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts already. And he'll come to the plate with 1 out and a runner on first base. Keuchel checks the runner and delivers. Misses inside on a ball, 1-0 the count. Dallas checks the runner and delivers. Swung on and fouled off down the first base line. He's still bringing the fastball at 95 miles an hour. Sitting on 94 pitches so far. Now he comes inside and misses, 2-1. Although I have not seen very much other than the fastball as we get later and later into his outing. I don't think the off-speed was working for him today. We haven't seen it pay off, although he does induce a ground ball on an off-speed that dropped out of the zone. And we're going to go 5-4-3, started off by Moncada. Rack him up. Sox out of the 6th inning, and we go to the top of the 7th. It's time to start getting some runs, trailing 3-0. Tyler Duffey, 22 appearances, 26 1/3 innings. 1 save out of 2 opportunities and a 2-0 record. A 1.03 earned run average with 23 strikeouts to 4 walks, but righties are hitting .275 against him. And I'm sure he'd like that to get lower. I want it to get worse, as Eloy Jimenez, a righty, stands in 0 for 2 in this game. 3 runs on 6 hits and an error for the Twins. No runs on 3 hits and an error for the White Sox. Jimenez is 0 for 5 lifetime against Duffey with 3 strikeouts. He needs to turn that around right away. Come on, Eloy. Don't let this guy punk you. An outside knuckle curve misses, 2-0. After Jimenez is Encarnacion and then Mazara scheduled to go. The next pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled off. 2-1 the count. Now this pitch is going to be fouled into the camera well down the first base line. Luckily, Maeda's out of the game. That's the good news here. He shut out the White Sox through 6. As this one's now put down the first base line, fair ball, it's going to roll into the corner. Jimenez coming around first base, is headed into second. Nobody's gotten to the ball yet. He touches second as it's picked up. He's going to round for third and then stay and go back to second base as the ball comes in. His 7th double of the season down the first base line opposite field. And the Sox in business right away against Duffy. And they need this. Maeda was all over them. But now you got a new pitcher. Encarnacion is 0 for 8 in the series with a couple of intentional walks. He's got a strikeout and a flyout in this game. He's 0 for 2. There's no outs in the top of the 7th inning. And a runner on second base, and we've seen that already in this game a couple times. Sox have to find a way to start getting that runner across and more. They're going to come back in this game and have any chance. Meanwhile, Keuchel likely done after his 6 innings as well. It's a quality start because he only gave up 3 runs over 6. But not the kind of start he wanted to have, and you're never proud when your team's down by 3 when you leave the game. Now this one sent down the first base line, curving towards the pole. It is off the wall, just inside the foul line. That's a double, and a run is going to score. Encarnacion hits a double down the first base line, off the wall in the corner, hit the padding right next to the yellow line going up the wall. Jimenez walks home, basically. Encarnacion in the second. The White Sox have their first run of the game and now trail 3-1. Nomar Mazara comes to the plate 1 for 2 in this one with a runner on second base, and the first ball is lifted into center field for a can of corn. Mazara is frustrating. Every time there's a big situation, you're like, take a few pitches, figure out the new pitcher. Swings at the first thing, pops it up. It's brutal. It's been like this all season. It's really getting annoying. Nick Madrigal's 0 for 2. Got a runner on second base, and now 1 out. I want to see the stat on how many first pitches Nomar Mazara swings at and makes contact with for an out. Four-seam fastball, they're going to say he went. Madrigal shakes his head. He doesn't believe he did. I don't think he did either, but 0-2 the count here now with 1 out at the top of the 7th and Encarnacion on second. He fouls back a four-seamer. Count remains 0-2. Don't stop now, boys. Don't be satisfied with 1 run. This pitcher hasn't shown very much. This ball's in the dirt, 1-2. He's given up 2 doubles, and then Mazara gives him an easy out. He just rushes up there. Now an outside pitch to Madrigal. The rookie's got patience, 2-2. 1 out, top of the 7th, a run already in. The White Sox came into this inning trailing 3-0. They're down 3-1 now as Nick Madrigal stands in. Next pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Madrigal didn't offer. He's muttering to himself. He actually looked back and started to say something to the umpire and thought second about it. He's young. He doesn't want to get into an argument just yet, but he thought that was outside. It was borderline, and there's 2 gone. Tyler Clippard comes into the game. He's going to face Luis Robert, and the first pitch is inside for a ball. 1-0 the count. We've seen Clippard already in this series. He has been effective against the White Sox. 1-0 count, though, to Robert with 2 outs. And a man on second, a changeup, take it for a strike. 1-1 the count. Not a lot of speed on second base. Robert has 3 bombs so far this season. We know he has more power than that. He just hasn't unleashed it yet. Swings at this one, sends it into left field. That's a base hit. Encarnacion is going to get into third, but it was shallow. He cannot come home. Robert's on first with the single. There's 2 on for Leury Garcia. A nice solid hit in the left field from Robert, who's really starting to find his stroke against the Twins. Sergio Romo and Trevor May warm. Garcia will face Clippard. He's 0 for 3 so far in this game. Generally, he does very well in the leadoff spot when he subs for Anderson. This is not normal for him. He seems to shine in this position. Good speed on first, bad speed over at third. They're going to throw over to Robert. They know with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning and his incredible stolen base rate, the Sox are going to try to get him over there at some point early in this at-bat. First pitch is outside. It was a pitch out. Nobody going. 1-0 the count. Garcia's hitting .353 with runners in scoring position, including a grand slam last night that gave the Sox the lead. He would give them the lead here with a home run. Swings and misses at an inside pitch, 1-1. Next one low and outside, 2-1 the count. Clippard checks the runners. There goes Robert. Pitch is low, but it's a strike. Robert's safe underneath the tag at second base on a head-first slide. Garcia's even in the count at 2, but now has Robert on second base, and a base hit likely ties this game. But he needs to get back and focus on his at-bat. The next offering, swung on and fouled back. Count remains even at 2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. This is the most the White Sox have threatened all game long. And he swings and misses it at 2-seamer. He's 0 for 4 with another strikeout. Clipper pumps his fist and comes off the mound. The White Sox get 1 run and threaten for more, but they're held down, and midway through the 7th, we trail 3-1. Carson Fulmer is going to come into the game. 22 in the 3rd innings and a 2.42 earned run average, 29 strikeouts to 9 walks. A 186 average righties are hitting against him. Lefties hitting 283. He's got 2 saves. They were both 3-inning saves. He is not always in garbage time, and we've seen him in some big situations pitch well, as he throws a 4-seamer inside for a ball, 1-0. We've also seen him continuously increase his skill set since he's gotten up here. He's been on a roll. As he throws one low and away for a strike, 1-1 the count. Fulmer, a guy who basically made the team because he was out of options and he was a high draft pick for the White Sox. I want to say he was like 7th or 10th overall in the draft the year that we picked him up. And then just continuously had problems when he came up here, didn't take as a starter, couldn't do it as a reliever. Made the team basically because that was the only option other than just releasing him. And then held on to the job. And he's 1-2 now against Kepler. He fouls this one off. 2-2 the count. The lefty Kepler is 0 for 2 in this game. Had a big game last night. And is dangerous every time he's up. That is high, taken for a ball. Kepler stands in waiting for the next pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. They're going to say that's a ball. Count is full. Miguel Sano stands on deck. He has a 2-run home run that still hasn't landed yet. The first batter up is a full count here. That one is deep, back, and really, really gone. Max Kepler crushes one into right field. So Carson Fulmer comes in and gives up a 400-foot home run out of here at 98 miles an hour, a towering shot out into right field. Kepler, 10 home runs on the season. He came into this series with only 7. 2 yesterday, 1 today. You can see Ricky Renteria just shaking his head like, wow, this guy is eating the White Sox alive. They get the run back right away here with their first batter of the inning and regain the 3-run lead. And I want somebody to put some industrial fans out there in right field and blow in, because that's an unfair advantage. As the Twins are playing to the strength of their ballpark, when that wind is blowing out the right, they put it out there. That was a big reason for them winning the game last night. And it's one of the reasons they're in the lead right now. The other reason is Miguel Sano with a towering shot in the left field and went way out into the 3rd deck. Going to send this one immediately out to center field. Robert's going to get underneath it and make the easy catch. Thankfully, 1 gone here in the bottom of the 7th. Marwin Gonzalez is up. He's got a home run as well. He's 2 for 2. He's also got a single. Marwin's batting lefty now. The switch hitter moves over as the righty Fulmer pitches to him instead of Keuchel. Gallus gave up 3 over 6 hits through 6 innings. Put a few guys on with free passes, but it was the 2 home runs that gave up all 3 runs for him. An outside 4-seamer catches the zone, 1-1. Now a ground ball over to second base, scooped by Madrigal over to first. There's 2 gone. Byron Buxton's 1 for 3. He's got a single in the 1st inning. He's hitting 269. Sox have done a good job containing him and his speed during this series. As he tries to lay down a bunt for a base hit, he might get this one. Moncada tries to barehand it down there, but he was right next to Grandal when he got to it. He has attempted to bunt his way on 3 times in this series. He's 1 for 3 with those attempts, as he's finally on first base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. And now a pop down the third base line will just be missed by Jimenez along the line. And Andriza now takes a ball high, 1-1 the count. Lots of speed on first base. Buxton was going there, but he fouls it off, 1-2. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll probably try to go again. Fulmer checks him. He still goes. This one's fouled off as well. So he's trying to go twice here. See if he goes here. They're going to pitch out. He doesn't go this time. 2-2. Fulmer redirects his focus on the batter, throws one outside and misses. 3-2. 3-2 count, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. Buxton with good speed on first. Sox trailing 4-1. The pitch on the way. Misses high for a ball and he walked him. So Fulmer gives up the home run, gets the next 2 outs, a bunt base hit and a walk. He's got 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Luis Arias steps in. Ricky Renteria is going to try to see if Fulmer can get out of this inning. He misses just outside with the ball. 1-0 the count. Next one lifted down the right field line. Mazara's not going to get to it. It's off the wall. A run is going to score. Fulmer, with a very bad inning here in the 7th, has now given up 2 runs. He has runners at second and third, and now the Sox trail by 4. He has been extremely effective, but they're not waiting any longer. They're going to the bullpen. In comes Kelvin Herrera, and if you're wondering why you're not seeing the big guys for the White Sox, they've all been used in the last 2 days. And you got to rely on some of these other guys every once in a while. You don't see the same pitchers from the Twins either. Those other guys in the bullpen have to come through. 23 1/3 innings for Herrera, 5.01 earned run average. He's had a rough time. He only needs 1 out here, and he's got Nelson Cruz at the plate, who's 0 for 2. First pitch misses away on a cut fastball, 1-0 the count. Don't look now, but Josh Donaldson's on deck, and he's due. He's not been the game that we imagined for the White Sox today. This is their worst offensive output against the Twins, and one of their worst ones of the season so far. A team that has only been shut out 1 time and held to 1 run 1 time. They're currently sitting on 1 run. The slider inside hits the zone 1-2. You're going to have to put up runs against this offense. They are very good here in Minnesota. Next pitch misses high and in. 2-2 the count from Herrera. Runners at second and third. The pitch. Chopped down the first baseline, foul. Count remains even. Now swung on and missed on a 2-seamer high. He's going to sit him down. Herrera gets the out he needed to get. Sox, though, trail instead of 3-1, 5-1. After that 7th inning, we go to the top of the 8th. And we need some runs. The White Sox need some runs. Yasmani Grandal has provided a lot of them so far this year. 39 RBI, 14 home runs to go with that 304 average. Stands in against Tyler Clippard, who remains in the game, and the righty throws one inside for a ball, 1-0. Sellout crowd today here in Minnesota for some afternoon baseball on a Saturday in May as we enter Memorial Day weekend. And I always say, I say it because my dad used to say it, get to Memorial Day weekend, look at your team. Are they good or are they bad? That's probably what they really are. Don't get excited early, but get excited later. And I'm going to tell you right now, no matter what the outcome of this game, worst case, you've split with one of the best teams in baseball through 6 against them this season. And you are in second place with double digits over 500. So the Sox are a good team. I don't know where they're going to go this year. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun. 3-0 now. That pitch misses. Grandal's going to walk. And I think if this was a closer game, you'd be tempted to put some speed on and get him out of there. But right now, you need more than just a couple of runs. So you need solid base hits, and Abreu is hoping to provide 1 for 3 in this game. He's the 3-hitter in this lineup. There's no outs at the top of the 8th, and Clippard throws a split finger that's fouled off down the first base line. Abreu is 0 for 5 lifetime with 4 strikeouts against Tyler Clippard. So he has not had a good start against him. That said, earlier in the game, we saw a stat where, what was it? It was Duffy? Duffy had been able to get out Eloy Jimenez 6 times in 6 chances. He was 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. That's right. And then Jimenez hit a double. So that stuff doesn't matter. The 1-1 pitch inside swung on and missed, 1-2. Well, maybe it matters for Abreu, who shakes his head and looks confused. Grandal's on first, no outs, top of the 8th. Sox down by 4. Swung on and missed, he struck out. So maybe Tyler Clippard has the cheat code for Jose Abreu. He looked terrible in that at bat. Moncada's going to come up now with 1 out. And maybe the White Sox can string some hits together. That's the one thing they have not been able to do today. A low inside split finger, misses for a ball, 1-0. He's got a double in the fourth inning. He was left there stranded. There were no outs. He's only 2 for 12 in his series with a couple of doubles. And the RBI that he collected. Splitter outside misses, 2-0. The other thing we've been seeing build here is that the White Sox have seen a few guys cool off in the last couple of days. We have not seen big production out of Moncada. Grandal had a big home run in the first game of this series. But overall, the heater he was on has come back down to earth. That one swung on and missed, 2-2 the count. Jimenez has been steady. You got to give him that. This pitch is low and away, 3-2. He really is a hitter in the 270s with 13 home runs and 37 RBIs. I think that average makes sense, and I think the home runs will basically just extrapolate out with him. He's been the most steady guy on this team. Swung on and missed. Moncada goes down. Clippard struck out 2, and the White Sox are going out with a whimper so far in this game. Something needs to change, and it needs to change right away. My daughter at her last day of the 8th grade today, and I took off a couple hours to do this game, and these guys have let me down today. And I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Eloy Jimenez fouls this one off down the first base line, 1 for 3. He's got a double and a run scored. Clippard's got 2 outs. And still Grandal over at first base. White Sox have put the leadoff man on 4 times in this game. They've only gotten him around the score once. 3 of those leadoff men were in scoring position with 1 out or less. Jimenez strikes out, so after Grandal gets on, 3 straight strikeouts for Clippard. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, chasing 4 and needing to hang on. Kelvin Herrera's going back out for the 8th inning, and why not? You're down by 4, your team can't hit. You want to win on Sunday and at least get the split. Kelvin Herrera's a professional pitcher. He should be able to do his job out here. Sox down by 4, Josh Donaldson's up. Most White Sox pitchers have been able to control him this entire series. 1 for 3 in this game, 2 for the series. As he swings and misses, I want to say he has 7 strikeouts in this series. He was the deadliest player in baseball at the plate coming into this series. He may not have that crown anymore, and if he does, he's at least a little weaker to this point. Ball inside, 1-1 the count. Next pitch swung on and missed, 1-2. Fastball right down the middle he couldn't catch up to. Now he fouls off a 4-seamer at 97 miles an hour from Herrera. Count remains 1-2. Herrera checks the sign, goes inside and misses on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-2 the count. It's gone final in Detroit. They had day baseball against the Rays. 2-1 Rays. Doesn't really matter much to us, because Detroit is so far back. But I like giving the scores out every once in a while to fill time. That ball's in the dirt, the count is full, Garver's on deck. Herrera had control of this at bat. But now has missed badly on his last 2 pitches. Instead of being 1-2, he's 3-2. Donaldson waits for the pitch. Here it is. Swung on and fouled back a 4-seamer at the knees. He fights it off, just got a piece of it. I mean, just a little bit of it, as it weakly went off to the side of Grandal. Next one is rifled out in the right field. Mazzaro will get on the 1-hop. He had no chance of anything else. A base hit for Donaldson, so 2 for 4 in this game. He's striking out a lot, but he's starting to figure out how to get a few hits. And that's worrisome because we still got to play him tomorrow. Garver comes up. He's technically the hottest guy on the team over the last 5-6 days on this team. Definitely the hottest guy on this team besides Max Kepler. I just remembered him. Oh, man. He's been beating us up over the last couple of days. He didn't even start game 1. That's the only game we won in this series so far. Fouled off. Quickly 0-2 to Garver, who's 0 for 3 in this game with a couple strikeouts. Next pitch misses outside, 1-2. In fact, the first 6 pitches that Garver saw in this game from the starter Dallas Keuchel resulted in 2 strikeouts for him in 2 different at-bats. Now, In a fit of anger, he lifts one deep out of the left field, tailing back. And that one is gone as well, and the White Sox have run into the number one offense in baseball that on a clear day here in Minnesota are piling it on. 448 feet out of here at 109 miles per hour. That one hits the facade of the third deck. That's a second third deck home run here in Target Field today against the White Sox. It's batting practice out here against Sox pitchers. We said it coming into this series. The White Sox are a really good offense. The Twins are the best offense in baseball. Bar none, the best statistical offense in baseball with the best player so far in baseball in Josh Donaldson, the best hitter. And then you got two other guys on this team that are up in the top 10 in the amount of hits that they've gotten over the season so far. And you got a guy like Kepler batting in a 7-hole. He's got 3 home runs in this series, 2 yesterday, 1 today as he stands in and he's 0-2. In a 7-1 ball game now. You got a guy like Miguel Sano batting 8th or 9th. He's got double-digit home runs, including 1 today. From top to bottom, this is one hell of an offensive lineup, and they are really tough to beat here in Target Field, especially when the wind is blowing out like it was today. Swung on and missed. 1 gone here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Herrera's just staying out there now. Renteria's like, I'm done. You were a guy that was going to be a setup man. Challenged to be the closer. You're a mop-up guy now. Miguel Sano, 2-run home run in the 2nd inning. Started the scoring for the Twins. Now he rips one down the third base line. Fair ball. He's going to get a single out of it as Jimenez gets over quickly. Ball is in. There's still 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. They're going to come out and actually talk with Herrera, though the conversation might be, guess what, big guy? You're it. You know, you look at the bullpen right now. Everybody else has seen some action. You're not going to waste Cishek or Bummer. You want them to be ready. Fry and Marshall just went yesterday. Kopech probably isn't ready yet. Are you really bringing out Colome for work? They already got to him once. You don't want them to see him again. And you're down 7-1. So Herrera is really the guy right now. His job is to finish this game off. And unless the White Sox have a miracle run in the top of the 9th inning, they'll be down 2-1 in this 4-game series. And evened up in the season series, 3-all with the Minnesota Twins, 3.5 games back. And that tells you something about the Twins and the White Sox. Look at the White Sox season so far. But for us to be in first place, we would have had to sweep the Twins to this point. Ground ball, the Madrigal, nifty play over there to Garcia. 4-6-3, rack them up. Herrera's out of the inning. But the Sox now have a big task ahead of them, trailing 7-1 going into the last inning. Sergio Romo's going to come in. He was good last night. He's a pretty good pitcher. We actually saw him, I think, on Thursday night, too. 12 2/3 innings and a 1.42 earned run average. Opposing batters hitting .230 against him. He's got 4 times the amount of strikeouts than he does walks. And when Encarnacion comes up, 1 for 3. He will lead off this inning if he gets on. I'm sure they'll put a base runner on, just in case, as a slider inside misses 1-0. Although it hasn't been an issue with getting guys on at the beginning of an inning. The issue has been the inability to do anything after that. 4 innings. So far, of the first 8, the White Sox had the leadoff man on. 3 of those innings, he was on second. And only 1 time did they get a run across. And they still stranded 2 runners in that inning. And that was the only inning where they had multiple guys reach base. It's been 1 guy per inning or nobody in an inning. They've been spread out. They have not been able to group any hits together. It has been frustrating. And then the long balls. A lot of home runs in this game from the Minnesota Twins. That's going to be a base hit in the left field by Encarnacion, a single. Scooped up by Buxton. Somebody's grabbing a helmet there in the dugout. They're going to get him a runner. They're not going to make him run around. Danny Mendick's going to come in and run. Adam Engel's going to come in and hit for Nomar Mazara. I don't think that the team is very happy right now with his approach at the plate, Mazara. And when he had a pitcher on the ropes earlier in this game, and it was really the only inning the White Sox had a chance of getting anything done, he swings at the first pitch and pops it out. The Sox were all over him, back-to-back doubles, no patience. He let that pitcher kind of settle back in, and I think the White Sox could have gotten a lot more than just one run in that inning. Outside pitch to Engels, a ball, 1-0 the count, now a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. And there's been rumblings that if Adam Engel had not also slowed down over the last week or so, he would be the everyday guy in right field. He's still 100 points better in batting average than Mazara, even though he has been slowing down. He's only got about 20 or 30 less at bats. Inside sinker misses, 2-1 the count. And he might still get that opportunity to be the everyday guy in right. There's Nomar, who's been given 2 chances to start and has not done anything with it. Grounded down the third base line, count is even 2-2. Mendick with a lead. No outs here in the top of the 9th inning, the pitch. Swung on and fouled off, 2-2 the count remains. 2-2 the count, no outs, top of the 9th inning. Mendick takes off to second, that's a ball low. He's safe without a throw. He's got his second stolen base of the season. We have a full count. With no outs in the top of the 9th inning, unfortunately, we're down by 6. But the White Sox are still playing ball here. Anything can happen. It's baseball. There's no clock in this game, nor should there ever be. Swung on and missed. A slider outside, but in the zone. He took something off of the last pitch, and Engels out in front of it. He goes back. He was cold, though, and I would like to see him every day out there for maybe a week or so and see if he can heat back up like he was earlier in the season with some regular at-bats, because I think he's earned it. He plays much better defense than Mazara, who had another error today, even though he had a strong throw-in, but Engels got a pretty good arm himself. As Madrigal stands in 0 for 3 and takes a strike at the knees, 0-1 to count. And he's been better at the plate. And we've seen him go deep in counts. I think it would be an interesting move here for this team. 0-2 the count. You know what the interesting thing is about Mazara? We talked about it on Sox in the Basement in the offseason. When the Sox acquired him, I said, you're not married to this guy. You got him on the cheap as this is a ground ball over to first base, steps in the bag, there's 2 gone. Mendick advances to third. You got him on the cheap as Robert comes up. And you have control with the arbitration years, but you can always non-tender him at the end of the year and go get a right fielder. And look, in real life, if Nomar Mazara did this, that's what you would do. And you would just shrug your shoulders and say you gave away a low end, and I'm sorry, that was not a guy that was going to come up and light the world on fire. The prospect that the White Sox gave up to get Mazara. You took a chance, you rolled the dice, your first year out of the rebuild, it didn't work out. You move on from him, and you go get a right fielder in the offseason. And that's exactly what will be going on here. 0-2 the count to Robert. Next pitch just misses outside. He took it. It was almost the end of the game. 1-2 the count. Sox down to their last bullet. Down by 6 with a runner on third. If and when they drop this one, they'll be 3.5 back out of first place, but they're still going to have another game against the Twins. And then the Twins come in next weekend, as this pitch is low, 2-2 the count. And the season series is even at 3, and I said it yesterday. The Indians have been unable to hang with the Twins. The White Sox have. And that's a big deal for a young team. Lifted out into the left center field gap. It's going to tail back towards the wall. Buxton up against the wall will make the catch. Robert almost takes it out. That would have been fun. Wouldn't have meant very much, but it would have been fun. Instead, the game is over. The Twins take it to the White Sox and hand them one of their worst losses of the season. 7-1, Minnesota wins here at home against the Sox, and the White Sox will come back tomorrow and try to split this series. The goal was a split. You hoped for more. After you won that 13-inning game, you felt like it was possible, but the Twins have been able to bounce back and win the next 2. And it shows just how hard it is to beat this team right now. They're a team that's at the crest. We're a team on the come-up. We get another shot at them tomorrow. Kenta Maeda takes the win, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. Dallas Keuchel pitched the same amount of innings, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned runs. He had 8 that he struck out. Maeda is actually the player of the game for the Twins. Encarnacion would be the best offensive player for the White Sox. 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Luis Robert went 1 for 4. Jimenez went 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored. And after that, everybody else just had walks. There weren't very many hits in this game as the White Sox only get 7 total. 12 for the Twins. They beat us 7-1. We'll be back tomorrow. A very hot Dylan Cease, who has been on fire as of late. Even taking the loss last week, he only gave up 2 runs over 7. The problem was John Gray almost no-hit us. And that was the only shutout we've taken all season long. And this is only the 3rd time in total that a team has held us to 1 run or less. So we'll be back tomorrow. Please check out our advertisers, Family Waterproofing Solutions. Our thanks to DP3 Tech. Check them out. Make sure you support our sponsors, Cork and Carry at the Park. This is the podcast doing White Sox simulated baseball every day since opening day. And we're here for you for as long as it takes. The podcast for fans, by fans, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at SoxInTheBasement.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement.
Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always on SoxInTheBasement.com.